Hello and thank you for joining me for this episode of Man in a Room. It has actually been a while since I've uploaded an episode, and there is good reason for that. I've pretty much suffered a mental breakdown, but I'll go into that in a second. So basically, what happened was, after a decade of being in a relationship with my wife, she decided that she'd leave me. I'm not going to go into detail about that because it's not really something that's I want to share, because, it's private and personal. The people around me who know me personally know what happened and all that kind of stuff. So, but basically, my entire brain unraveled, and I'm now on medication. I'm currently in therapy, and just trying to get used to living alone, which is something, I don't think I could have talked about, because I'm talking now to you after about 2 months of not saying anything, because talking about it was too raw and would make me upset. But now I'm sitting here in my dining room, confidently talking about where I'm going in life, and it feels good. I have got used to living alone now. It's not ideal, but I've got good friends around me. I didn't know I actually had any friends until, this happened, and it's actually very comforting to think that these people are here. They are willing to listen to me, talk to me, all these other bits and pieces, and it's a very nice feeling. So, people are there for me, and it's actually very pleasant. And the one thing I want to talk about, actually, there's many facets that I would like to talk about, but the main thing is I want to talk about actually how low I actually managed to get. So basically, when my wife actually left me, my mind unraveled, and I just incoherently was wailing and crying and all that kind of stuff, and it got to the point where I actually felt like I couldn't go on in life, and these horrible, dark thoughts were just swirling around my head, and it was very uncomfortable. It was honestly, it was scary. Just these little thoughts that just pop up into my head, and it's like, I'm using a euphemism there. I'm saying dark thoughts. They were suicidal thoughts, and having these horrible thoughts of wanting to kill yourself, not thinking that you can go on, feeling absolutely worthless. It's honestly scary. And there were times when I would just melt down, and they would get worse and worse and worse, these horrible thoughts, including working out ways to drown myself, the way I could hang myself, overdosing and all this kind of stuff. And it was horrible. And I'm still here, because what I found out was there are helplines out there that are around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're there for people to just talk. You talk to them, and I just remember the first time I rang up the Samaritans. Actually, they were so they listened to what I was saying, and they basically just let me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, even though I was crying. Most of the time, they listened to me, and it made me feel better that there was somebody there. And they said, it doesn't matter if you want to ring back in 5 minutes. If you want to ring back literally straight away when you've hung up, you can do that. It's not a big deal. We're here for you to talk to. And it's very important that those are in place. There are other helplines out there. If you are living in the UK, I don't think you're actually listening to this if you are suicidal. Maybe you are, I don't know. But if you are in the UK, the number is 116 123, I think. But that's what helped me a lot. You can also contact them via text message. You can email them. I wouldn't tweet them. But it's, I talk about this openly with people because I want people to know that it can affect everybody. It can affect anybody. I'm one of those people that always look on the bright side of things, and it was very distressing just to feel just absolute shit. Honestly, I don't feel great still. I mean, I've actually not had sort of a depressing moment for about 6 days now, which is the longest I've actually gone in about 2.5 months. And I think that's actually pretty good going. And I feel ready now to come back and saddle up and steer this podcast to where it should be. It's been a lot of sort of soul searching, and the thing is that I always say about how we can introspectively look at our problems and digest them, and that our own thoughts control our perception of what's going on around us. Having my thoughts just run away and forgetting that was scary, because it's easier said than done to say that just ignore it. It's all your perception of what's going on around you. My perception was so skewed that I thought it was normal to want to jump in a river. Do you know what I mean? That's not normal. And, I feel good now that I'm actually able to talk about it candidly. Although, I'm not one of those sorts of people that like to talk about my personal life too much. Out of respect for my wife and all that kind of stuff, I want to go into detail about that. We are still friends. We still talk. We still hang out. It's just, we're not. Well, we are still married, but we're estranged, as it were. So, I thought I'd just give you an update on that. I was actually considering jacking in this podcast, because the thing is, I love doing this, but the thing was, I now have to support the running of a house on my own completely, which means that every single bill is now my responsibility. And trying to save money, I'm looking at all the different the bits and pieces that I could save money with. And unfortunately, I can't really warrant paying £5 a month to run a podcast that no one really listens to. But I'm trying my best to try and work our way around that. I mean, there are ways of doing free podcasts and all the other bits and pieces like that. But I like this service, and I want to stick with it. I mean, I like this, so I'm hoping to continue to do this, because having to migrate all the episodes and stuff like that would be a massive pain, and I don't really want to do that. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be coming back to do more episodes. I'm actually hoping to set up a proper place in my house to just record podcasts, because I can do that now. Living alone. There are many plus sides to living alone, that being one of them, that I can now literally just do what the heck I want. It's got a whole new level of freedom which I've never had before, and it's liberating, to say the least. So anyway, I've sort of waffled on now. I don't really want to sort of go on too much, because I'm just happy that I'm out of retirement now. I want to try and get at least this back on track. It's been a dreadful year for me, really. I mean, everything's just gone wrong, and it got worse. So, short of me dying, I don't know how it can get any worse. I can be evicted and made homeless. There we are. That'll be next week's episode. Okay, so until the next time, this has been me as the man in a room.